Good day, readers and listeners, and welcome to this latest episode of Tom's Rapid Reviews, where each week we take a few minutes to read out a book review written by one of the fabulous library staff here in Surrey. We tell you a little bit about the book and its author, and it's all done in the hope that you might try reading or listening to something new this week. So, this is the fourth episode we've done for LGBT History Month, and we're once again celebrating with a bumper review of a couple of books from the service with those LGBT themes. LGBT History Month takes place in February each year in the UK. This year it's centred around the theme, "The Arc is Long," and that's taken from a quote by Martin Luther King Jr., who said, "The arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice." So celebrating that history and the present of the LGBTQ+ community, let's turn to a few books my colleagues have read and reviewed which reflect those themes. Both of our books this week are thrillers. The Long Call is the first book, and it's by Anne Cleeves. It's the first in the author's Two Rivers series. Cleeves is a successful author with notable adaptations under her belt, including ITV's Vera. Let's turn to my colleague Rachel's review to tell us a little bit more. The Long Call by Anne Cleeves has some LGBT representation, says Rachel. Our main character, the detective, is gay, married to his husband, and slightly estranged from his religious family because of it. It's not the main aspect of the book, but it is nice to see some diversity within a crime novel. This was a great, slow, atmospheric detective series. I could feel the weather, attitudes of the characters, and imagine it on screen being very gloomy and cloudy, but brilliant. Set in North Devon, Detective Matthew Venn investigates a body found on the beach. He returns to the community that he left behind when he left the strict evangelical church and discovers new secrets. You can keep up with the investigation, get glimpses into the characters' personalities and their lives outside of work. So then Rachel gives us plenty about what to expect there. And on the strength of what she said, I'm going to give The Long Call 4 out of 5. The Long Call can be borrowed as a paperback, hardback or audio CD. It's also available as an ebook on the Libby app, along with plenty of Cleeves' other work, and as an audiobook on BorrowBox, together with its sequel, The Heron's Cry. So if you're interested in The Long Call, there's really no excuse not to give it a go. For our next review, we're going to turn to The Girls I've Beaten by Tess Sharp, and I'm going to let my colleague Sarah's review do the talking. This, says Sarah, is a YA book about a daughter of a con artist who is taken hostage in a bank heist with her partner and best friend. It has great thriller moments which really keep you on your toes, but also some humour to break the tension. There are lots of flashbacks which help explain how and why the protagonist is how she is. I love how her bisexuality is never a big controversy. She just happens to be LGBT. I also really appreciate how Sharp turns the typical love triangle trope on its head and explores how love in all forms, both platonic and romantic, are valuable and important. The focus on identity and questioning what it means to be herself when she has grown up being forced into different personas is incredibly engaging. Furthermore, as someone with a short attention span, I liked how fast the action scenes move and how they don't feel rushed. Overall, I recommend this book for its great representation of LGBTQ+ relationships. Endometriosis, a condition I have never seen depicted in fiction before, and the sense that you see the protagonist grow up, both in her childhood and the present moment. Trigger warnings for non-graphic violence and mentions of sexual abuse. My thanks to Sarah for that review. Based on her thoughts, this book is also getting 4 out of 5. You can borrow The Girls I've Been from Surrey Libraries in paperback. So now comes to the part of the show where we give some recommendations based on some of the themes we've been talking about. So that if The Long Call or The Girls I've Been piqued your interest, but you've already read them, or you want to try something slightly different, we can give you some ideas. And I thought for this week I would focus on a couple of books that have come in recently to Surrey Library stock and tell true stories worth hearing. A quick warning for some brief discussion of abuse. First is Billy Porter's book, Unprotected. You might know Porter from the TV show Pose, from his playwriting, his recording artistry, or his show stealing fashion statements on the red carpet. In Unprotected, we hear how Porter grew up black and gay with an abusive stepfather, following Billy's journey from childhood up to his success in the present day. Along similar lines is our second recommendation, and that is Lawrence Chaney's Drag Queen of Scots, The Do's and Don'ts of a Drag Superstar. Lawrence tells the story of their childhood and the bullying they were a victim of before charting their success and giving advice on life and on drag to the reader. Both of these books are available from Surrey Libraries, and Chaney's book is also available to listen to as an audiobook on BorrowBox. Well, readers, I think for now that's all. I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and I would like to thank you for celebrating LGBT History Month with us. The next episode of Tom's Rapid Reviews will be returning to the normal format. I'll be doing a thriller, which will be revealed in that episode. But for now, stay safe, borrow books, and I'll see you next time for another of Tom's Rapid Reviews.